Hi guys, for those of you who watch the channel on a regular basis, you're probably going to be aware by now, but I do occasionally like to feature the odd pressure washer video. And I've got a list of just a few that I've mentioned previously on the channel. And it goes a little something like this. The Karcher K2, the K4, the K5, the K5 Compact, the K7, the HD7125, the HD48 Classic, the HD410 Classic, and the 613C. That's just Karcher. Moving on to Nilfisk, the Core 125, the Core 130, the Core 140, and a Nilfisk P180. For Kranzer, we featured the 1152 TST. For AVA, we featured the P57 Easy, the P55 Go, the Evo P60, and the Evo P60. So like I said, we've just featured a few pressure washers. So I thought for today, I'll do something completely spontaneous that I've not featured for quite a while. Another pressure washer video. But don't worry, because in this video I'm going to be featuring not one, not two, but three different pressure washers that we haven't properly taken a look at before. So I can guarantee this video is going to be slightly different. Right, so here is the rundown. We have the Smart P60, the Master P60, and the Evo P60. Now the thing is, all these machines are different in their own way. So it depends on the type of person you are and what you want to get out of your pressure washer, which will help you decide which one of these is going to be best. So I think it's about time we switch the lights on and take a closer look. So what's underneath these pressure washers? Well, on the Smart P60 we have a 3-cylinder metal pump. On the Master and the Evo we both have a 4-cylinder metal pump. And believe me, if we talk about performance, it's going to produce pretty much the same bar pressure and flow rate. However, when we talk about being robust, these two bigger models right here are going to be better for the job. However, with the P60 Smart, you're going to find the pressure washer is going to be a lot lighter than the Master and the Evo. So there is pros and cons to both of them. Although this is a smaller pressure washer, please don't discredit it thinking it's not going to be powerful enough. You've just got to consider that this will be a lot lighter, but these two heavier machines will probably be more durable. So I want to talk about the hoses now, because all three of these pressure washers have an 8-meter steel reinforced hose. They're exactly the type you would find on a commercial grade pressure washer. So they're going to be tough, they're going to be durable, and you are going to be able to get plenty of usage out of it. And there is one more thing I need to draw your attention to, because that is the maintenance side with these hoses. You do need to look after them. You need to make sure that if you are going to reel these up afterwards, that you have released all the pressure if you want them to last as long as possible. You also have to keep a very close eye on these washers right here. Now in the winter months they will expand if they're left out in the cold, and they can deteriorate over time. So if you're constantly pulling it on and off from a stubby gun, for example, you will find that these will weaken, and that's where you will find a common leak. So proper maintenance is always essential if you want to get the best out of any of these pressure washers. Moving on to the lances now, and all three of these pressure washers are going to come with exactly the same lances, all of which can be used as stubby guns, or you can use the telescopic handle here, like so, which means that you can reach longer parts of the car. If you've got a bigger car or a roof, it's definitely beneficial. You also get two nozzles as well, and this particular nozzle right here is the one you would be using for car cleaning. It's got 3 fan settings: narrow, wide, and a bit of both. If you set it on a bit of both, it will give you reduced pressure, but it's more like a fine mist that comes out. So if you're cleaning convertible roofs, it definitely benefits you in that aspect. You also have a mini patio nozzle. Now this is going to be great for stonework, and it's also going to be beneficial for those of you who like to clean those wheel arches, especially if they get caked in mud. It will give you a better performance, but you do need to be extra careful, because the last thing you want to be doing is blasting your paint with one of these. Right, so now I want to talk about some of the ergonomics, because I believe this is going to be the key area where people are soon going to realize which pressure washer is going to be the best one for them. So we're going to start off with the foam cannon. Now you get exactly the same foam cannon with every single pressure washer. Now I personally don't like these. I'm going to be 100% honest. I just didn't think they were quite good enough. However, they are free, so I'm not really in a position to have a go at anybody, because they are chucking it in as a free gift with every single pressure washer you buy. However, they have now decided, with some special offers at the minute, that they're chucking in the premium cannon, and we will talk about that a bit later on, because I think that is something that cannot be ignored. With the Smart, the foam bottle fits in perfectly. You've got no worries of it falling out, nice and secure. Again, with the Master, it's also a different alternative take on it, and it still doesn't fall out at all. And with the Evo, you can clip it on here, albeit it seems slightly more awkward compared to these two, but nevertheless, it's still secure. So at this point, this is where you're probably going to think that the Master has the edge over the Evo, but this is where things sort of go in the Evo's favor, because this hose reel is absolutely solid. I kid you not, it just feels so easy to reel up the hose at the end of the day. However, with the Smart and the Master, it's a plastic handle, and because this folds in like this, every time I'm trying to reel it, I just keep catching my hand. And I do think that's quite annoying, if I'm honest. So for me, I just like the convenience of just being able to roll it up as quick as possible. Again, it's not necessarily a deal breaker for everybody, but for my own personal preference, I think the Evo wins. So all three of these pressure washers come with a follow me hose reel, and that basically means whichever way you walk around, these will swivel. Now the thing is, with the Smart, it doesn't have a locking feature. So with the Master and the Evo, again, you can lock them in place, and it means that they're not going to swivel like this, which can be a little bit awkward, especially if you've got it traveling in the back of the van. So now let's talk about the power cable storage. This is a big deal, I believe, because for those of you who do this for a living like I do, it's nice when you can just get in and out of a job, put everything away in literally seconds, and not have to worry about all the faffing that comes along with the cables. For the Smart, you've got to be very careful with how you do this, because you need to fold it up correctly, and then you can pop it here in this little pocket, and you'll see it does actually do a pretty good job of storing it, but it's not the most convenient way of doing things. We then have the Master, which again, you have to fold the cables up and you can attach it via this little belt. It's not a terrible design, it's actually pretty good, but for me, I just can't be bothered with it. I want something even easier. And that's where the Evo comes in. Because this is a genius idea, and I think it's probably one of the first of its kind. I don't think I've ever seen a domestic pressure washer with a cable reel. So what you do is you put your plug in here, like so, and start spinning. You can tell I've done this in one take. And it even clips that cable in place. Nothing rolls out. Job done in literally seconds. Again, if we go back to the Ergonomics, all of them can easily store away any tools and accessories just like so. It doesn't matter whether you're using the Smart, Master or Evo, they all conveniently work well. There's no problems there. So in my own personal humble opinion, I truly believe that the Evo P60 is going to be the best all-rounder. And that's based on so many different factors. If we just look at the design itself, everything looks like it's all being well built. Everything's all in the right places. When it comes to lifting it, although it is going to weigh a lot more than the Smart P60, you have the handles in the right places. And then if we go back to the Master, for example, when you have this part here where you're trying to connect the hose in, I had a few people comment, and they were just from the older generation, and they were saying, look, we have arthritis, we have pains in our hands. You try fitting a hose through here. It is quite difficult for some people, so not everybody's going to be getting along with that. However, with the Evo, everything just feels like it's being built for me, exactly how I want it. I want to be able to reel this hose up quickly, I want to be able to reel up the cable as well, and I want to be able to store everything away without any worry of it falling around or the hose going anywhere. And it's all these little variables that I just personally believe make this the best out of the three. And I have to emphasize the importance of the finer details, such as this handle on the reel obliterates these two here. You also have the cable reel, which makes a massive difference. So when you've finished working at your job, you can roll everything up. It's nice and secure. Like we go back to the P60, for example, the Smart P60. That hasn't got a locking mechanism. So that means that it's always going to be rolling about in the van. I simply just didn't quite get on with that. But with this, it just ticks every single box that I could possibly want. And when you compare the specs on this compared to the similar P80, it's not really that far off. Right, so now let's talk about the pricing, because if you shop around, you will be able to get yourself a very good deal. However, in today's video, I am going to be giving you accurate pricing from the AVA website directly. So that's avastore.co.uk. So let's start off with the Smart. Now that comes in at around £299 for the large bundle. That large bundle includes the foam cannon and it includes the 2 nozzles as well. Not really any other special offers going on this particular machine right now, but this is where it's going to get slightly interesting. So now let's move on to the Evo P60. This is my favorite, and it's going to cost you around £349. But because it's currently on sale right now, you will also be able to get the premium foam cannon pack alongside it, which means you're going to be able to get better quality foam from the get-go, but you're also going to be able to get those 3 beakers, which means if you wanted to put a ceramic sealant or a wheel shampoo in the other beakers, you can certainly do that. So it's definitely going to save you a lot of money in the long run, because personally I still don't like the standard foam cannons that come with them anyway. Right, so there's a very good reason why we've left the Master till very last. And it's a big one at that, because this particular machine requires zero assembly. Yep, you can get it straight out of a box and get using it pretty much instantly. Whereas with the Smart and the Evo, it is going to require some assembly. So talking about the pricing for the large bundle, which will consist of a foam cannon, the standard cannon that is, the one that I really wasn't a massive fan of, and 2 nozzles, it's going to set you back around £350, which is exactly the same as the Evo, but without the premium foam cannon. However, if you go for their special offer that they're running right now for £360, you can get it with the premium foam cannon, but you also get it with the patio head as well. So when you factor in the cannon, the patio head, and the fact you don't need to assemble it, it's now swinging it in the favour of the Master, which does make a very difficult decision. So if you are somebody that's going to be incorporating a lot of patio cleaning in that cleaning regime, then ideally you need to be going for one of the 4-cylinder pressure washers, whether it's the Master or the Evo. I think it's fair to say my brain is well and truly frazzled. I've said the words AVA, pressure washer and P60 about 1 million times in this video. However, if you want to carry on looking for a different type of pressure washer that is an AVA, but it isn't a P60, then perhaps you should take a look at this machine, the Easy P57, that you can go and watch right here.